Hi and welcome. It's Lacey here and I'm bringing you another yoga class. It is quite hot in the attic today, so I'm going to keep this practice short and sweet. It's going to be another little bit of gentle flow and some restorative towards the end of the practice. So grab your mat, grab some pillows, blankets, bolsters, whatever you have on hand, some things to keep you nice and comfy, and we'll get started. Okay, we're going to start today in either down lying on your mat or in a heart opener, and I'll show you which one. So just go ahead and lie down, get comfortable. The one that I suggest or recommend or am offering for our practice today is a supported back bend. I've shown you this most likely if you've watched videos with me before, but it is my favorite yoga pose ever, so I often recommend it during classes. But it's just lying down on your two blocks in a supported fish pose. So the shoulder blades come over the edges of that block and your head rests on the top block here. And it's a really comfortable one. It's a nice heart opener. So you go ahead and get comfortable in your heart opener of choice. And while you're there, I'm going to sit upright and read you a poem. So the poem is by Emery Hall in her book Made of Rivers. And the one we're reading today is called Wild. Let the wilderness in, grow a forest for a heart. Make your very blood a salve of pine and open sky. Be the air that birds come to sing in, the water that even rivers seek. Wild. So from where you are lying on your mat, I want you now to imagine your breath like a tide rolling in and out, or a current of a river. So as you breathe in, you can imagine that air, your breath, washing over the whole body from the toes to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, reversing it, allowing the air to release back down and out. And just watching the breath as you continue like that a couple of rounds. So breathing in, the current moves over you, up and through, and out. Breath moves down and out. Do that a few rounds. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Now if you want to add more of that water-like quality to the breath, Ujjayi breath, oceanic breath, or soft constriction through the back of the throat, so that as you're breathing in and out, you're making that sound, but with the lips closed. So it's like you're fogging the glass of a mirror, but with closed lips. So breathing in, that current moves in and out. And in and out. Take just a few more on your own, in and out, in and out. And then if you are still lying on your back, roll up, lift up, come up to a comfortable seat. Just let the breath settle. Come into a normal, natural pace, depth, cadence. We'll take a gesture or mudra today called Abhaya Mudra. And it's one palm facing forward, second palm face up towards the sky. So this palm is a gesture of pushing away, the other is a gesture of receiving. So that equal opposing boundaries and receptiveness, open heart. So we're going to be doing a heart opening practice. So this is really important. I know I do a lot of heart opening in my yoga classes, and it's really good to counteract all of that hunching that we all often do in day-to-day life, typing on computers, holding babies, toddlers, all of those things. It's really nice to counteract that, to de-armor, to open. So it's really good to do that heart opening to de-armor, to counteract all of that. But what happens if we do that heart opening without the proper alignment, without the proper boundaries, without that proper container? Bad things can happen if you don't have boundaries. So we're working on cultivating that strength, that alignment, balanced with receptiveness, balanced with that flexibility, that open heart. So come into this mudra, close your eyes right here for a moment, and let the breath settle, let everything soften. A moment of stillness right here. Big breath in, sweep your arms up towards the sky. And as you exhale, you can fold forward over your shins. If you'd like to take blocks underneath you for that forward fold, you can. Just pausing there a moment or two. Shin can drop down to chest. You can shake your head no a couple of times. And roll yourself back upright. Change the cross of your shins, opposite shin in front. Find your gesture again, receptive, grounded, firm. Close the eyes. Big breath in. And exhale, dive forward over that second shin, taking your blocks maybe underneath the forearms, softening, settling, finding breath. Shaking your head no from side to side. Roll yourself back upright. Come forward to your tabletop, taking your hands and knees down onto the mat, and just move through some rounds of cats and cows, nice and slow, slow and controlled, just opening, receiving. Cats and cows, or any little motion here that you need, some circles, maybe a downward facing dog or two, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, shaking the head no a couple more times, no, no, no. Lower the knees back down to the mat. We're going to come into a modified side plank by kickstanding the right shin, extending your left leg back towards the side, reaching your left arm up towards the sky, finding that nice heart opening. Your ear can drop down towards your shoulder, elongating through the side of the neck. Maybe stay right there. Maybe take the left arm all the way over the ear. Just playing with that opening through the side body here. And then shape shift, change sides. Come to your second side, playing with that nice opening across the chest, ear to shoulder, maybe gaze down. Maybe stay like this, maybe take your arm overhead. Release, come into downward facing dog, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up towards the sky. And we're gonna take this straight into a shape. I actually have not practiced this one in a while, but this one is a really good one that is similar. It is a little bit of a fallen triangle action, so you can extend your right leg through your body from that down dog, left arm up towards the sky. It's like what we just did, but a little bit different. A little bit more strength here. So feeling the belly hug into the spine, still gazing down. Good, and then switch sides. Might have to move some things around here. Left leg reaches out towards the side, right arm reaches up towards the sky, or maybe over your ear. Release that all, come into a puppy pose. Heart can melt down towards the mat, your forehead can release. Find a few rounds of breath here, just letting everything soften, settle. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the lips. Gaze forward in between your hands, slide out into a baby cobra pose. Peeling the heart up, big breath in. And exhale back into child's pose, hips to heels. From there, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. This is really the last active shape that we're going to be doing today. I told you it's a nice and sweet practice, and we're really going to stay true to that. So come into either your modified side plank again, or a full side plank, stacking your feet one on top of the other. And to take a little bit of a rock star or wild thing action here, you can take your left toes down to the mat, reach your left arm overhead, open through the chest, so getting this nice big heart opening motion here. And then gaze down. Maybe rinse it out with a vinyasa, lowering down halfway or all the way, lifting your heart into up dog. Downward facing dog is where we land. Second side, find your modified, or either your modified side plank or your full side plank again, maybe stacking shins one on top of the other, finding that strength in the core, belly into spine. And for your wild thing, tiptoeing the toes up. You might take this little action here, lifting up, heart opens. Nice. And for that fancy transition, you might come through center, maybe keep that toe lifted, lower down, lift up. Child's pose, hips to heels, settle right here. And we are going to practice those restorative, they're actually going to be more of yin shapes, hair everywhere, yin shapes that we're going to be doing today. And the first of those shapes it's called broken wing, is what I've heard it referred to before. I'll show you the bird's eye view and then I'll do it myself down on the mat. But your left arm is going to come out towards the left side, and then you're going to rock all the way onto your left side body here. So left wrist parallel with the shoulder, rock onto the side body, and you can really control how deep you get. So you might stay with that hip stacked or more centered, or you might take your right toes down to the mat. So kind of similar shape to what we did in that wild thing or rock star. But we'll just be here for about a minute, breathing into the side of the heart, letting everything settle here. Notice what's happening in the mind, the body. Inviting some presence in. Big breath in through the nose. And sigh, let it go. Release through center. You can stack your hands one on top of the other. Shimmy, shimmy the hips right here. Finding breath. Right arm reaches out towards the right side. Roll all the way onto your right side body. You might notice that this side feels very different than the first, so you might be able to find your tiptoes behind you, or you might be more stacked. Could be more open, could be less open. Just notice how your body feels on the second side. And see if you can be with that sensation, breathe into it. Big breath in. Exhale, release. Let it go into center. Pause in your crocodile. Find that shimmy shimmy of the hips or windshield wiper of the shins here. Take your second side, or not your second side, your next pose is what I mean, and I'm going to show you what your next pose is. So we don't have 3 sides of the body. The next shape that we're going to be doing is called folded wings, so you'll notice a lot of wing themed in the heart opening shapes that we're taking today. This is heart opening for kind of the back of the body, which the heart moves, well, the spine rather moves in 4 directions, so it moves flexion, extension, side body, bending, and twisting. So 4 directions that the spine moves, and we're going to be doing the opposite of the opening, which is the rounding of the back body. So still in the same realm as heart opening. But you'll notice this wing theme throughout a lot of the heart opening shapes. That's because the arms, we say in yoga, are energetic extensions of the heart. So folded wing comes after brocade wing. So you're going to cross right arm in front of your left one in the center of your body. If your forehead doesn't touch the mat here, you can take a block to any height underneath your forehead. You might have to play with it. And then let yourself settle, let yourself soften. You might have to wiggle around a little bit to come into a version of the shape that feels comfortable for you. I'm just noticing how it feels. Dying deep breath. Moving slow and controlled. Switch sides. Opposite arm comes in front. Lay your forehead down. And settle. As you're ready, release. Come into a Sphinx pose for just a moment here. Tint your fingers into the mat and then draw your heart forward from there. And then from there, replant the hands, the palms, re-extend the fingers, keeping the heart forward in space. Just feeling into that energetic quality as you tint, draw the mat towards your body and re-extend. And do that a couple of times so it's a little bit of a subtle movement. And then let that go. We're going to set up for our final rest from here, so you can come up to a seat so that you can see where we are going. We're going to take it into a gentle heart opener here, so going along with that theme. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a bolster, a spinal bolster with the blanket. So let's do it like this. Let's do it this skinny way. So you'll take your blanket, make this rectangle. You want to fold from the part of the blanket that does not have the crease on it, so you're moving towards the crease. I used to think this was way too specific when I first started practicing yoga, but then once I did restorative yoga teacher training, I'm like, I get it now. So you actually do, blankets, the way they are folded actually is really important for restorative yoga. It's kind of like that princess and the pea kind of thinking. If there is a crease anywhere in the blanket, you are going to feel it and it's just not going to feel quite as relaxing. So you're going to make your blanket like this and you're going to lay down on top of it with your spine in the middle of this blanket. Take your bolster in case you want it, and that's going to go underneath the backs of the knees. So a little bit of a spinal bolster. You can have your sits bones towards the edge of this blanket as you come down, so the entire spine comes over it. If you have something you want to place over your eyes as you come down, an eye pillow or a cloth or something, you can have it nearby. Lower yourself all the way down. Notice how this feels. Notice if any adjusting is needed. And then let yourself settle into center here. So in the attic, I'm often a little bit more minimalist on props than I would recommend if we were going to be doing a really, really juicy restorative practice. But you could also have all kinds of other props here if you want them. Another bolster or a rolled up blanket underneath the ankles can be nice because they're kind of flopping around in space. Blankets underneath the arms, blankets under the entire body, whatever you need. Feel free to make this really comfy, to make this really cozy, to make this yours. Feel free to pause the video, to stop the video now, and stay here as long as you need. But we're going to all come into it together, and we're going to spend just a couple minutes in it. So again, if you'd like to practice longer, be my guest. But if you're with me, then just start to feel into the breath again, letting everything settle in space where you are. Watching that current of the breath, let it wash over you as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, just feeling the current of breath washing back down as it does, releasing tension, releasing stuck, stagnant energy, releasing anything that does not need to be held. Do that a few times. We'll do that with an open mouth sigh on the next round. So big breath in here. And let it go. One more like that, big breath in. And let it go. We'll spend the next few minutes here in Shavasana.
गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद राधे
Start to invite breath back to the body. Small movements back, wiggle fingers, toes, circle ankles and wrists. Rock to one side and lift all the way up to a seat. This would not be a heart-opening practice without a little bit of a love song, so we are going to play our Baba Hanuman song. You can sing, you can listen, join in, ignore it, stop the video at any point. I will not be offended. I don't even know what you do at your... Okay, we'll stop there. We'll stop there and we'll just get into it. Abhaya Mudra, palm forward, palm up. Pause here. Feel the breath. Hands to heart center. Together we bow and say Namaste. Thank you so much for joining for our class today. If you have questions, please let me know. If you have requests for future videos on YouTube, future classes, let me know as well. I do hope that you support this channel, subscribe, do all those things, comment, introduce yourself. I'd love to hear if you enjoyed it. We'll see you, I guess I say we as if my kids are here in the background. I will see you next time. See you soon.